This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. We're going old school. We got the winner of Stage 2 on the Harris Chain, Bobby Lane, on Thursday. He's fishing the Invitational. And if you looked at that top 10, which I talked about yesterday, dude, there are some guys that have wrestled. They're not wrestling, they're wrestling fish out of the reeds. And one of those was the Big Show, who's off to a top 20 start. Terry Scroggins off to a top 20 start after two stages of the BPT. Now, I normally wait to show the video because MLF does a really good job of showing the highlights. But before we bring Terry in, I just want to run this video so we can get a taste of what we're going to get to talk about what happened down in Florida in the BPT. So there it is. There's the screen. There's Terry that I'm bringing in. What's up, Big Show? How are you?
What's up? That's actually Mark Davis. That's not me.
I know, but
okay.
Wait, watch what happens when I hit play.
I got you.
Look at that fish.
Oh,
Look at that
yeah.
fish in the reeds. Look at that thing. Now watch. This is where you know it gets good. Look at that. You're going to the back. You're down the walk. Just, dude, that's Florida fishing at its finest right there. The old Texas rig that looks like a straight tail. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Straight up old school.
Straight up old school. Thanks for jumping on BTL. It's been a long time. I know you've been on before. I don't think I've had you on since I took over for Mark Jeffries 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has. So congratulations on a top 5 finish. I think you're either your third or your fourth top 10 on the BPT, and it had to feel good to get out there, put the big string, the big stick. Are those like all rods that you make?
Yeah, everything I use, I make. I get everything from mud hole and just get raw components and put them together. And I like it because you build what you actually want and just exactly like you want it. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
How big was that one? Was that like a 7?
So I caught a 6.6 and a 6.7. So I think that was a 6.7.
All right, let's talk about this tournament. A lot of old school stuff going on. You had a Popka that played for some the entire tournament, played for some for a couple days. You had a lot of stuff going on in the tournament, but one thing that came down to it was Florida baits, Florida style of fishing. You had scoping that played some. You had some guys that figured out how to do that, but for the most part, it was guys who have been doing it for a long time on baits that have always worked down there in areas and types of fishing that have traditionally worked in Florida. Going into this, did you know that this was going to be an old school Florida beatdown?
I had no idea, to be honest with you. And you know, it's really a crazy deal. We take off out of Venetia Gardens and Lake Harris. It's an hour to get to the lock over the Papua Canal. And then this lock holds 3 boats. So you get there and you're in line to get locked through. So the first day, I didn't get over there till 10 o'clock. I just got held up in boat traffic, and I had a game plan. There's actually a spring in Lake Apopka, and Lake Apopka had a fish kill, pretty serious fish kill in it. So I'm thinking in my mind, I'm going to go to the spring. I'm going to live scope in the spring, and I'm going to catch them. So now I get there at 10 o'clock. I go to the spring, which is all the way at the opposite end of the lake. It's another 30 minutes to the spring. And I get there with 10 minutes to go in the last part of the first period. So I'm starting the second period. I'm going to scope and I'm going to catch them and I'm going to make hay. Well, it don't work. And now here I am at the bottom end of Apopka all the way 30 minutes into the second period, and I don't have a scoreable bass. So that's when I turned and I started. Then I start going old school. I go to some reeds that I've caught them in the past, which is completely opposite end of the lake from the spring. It's back up on the north end. I go rolling in there, and there's Jacob Wheeler, Bobby Lane, Gary Klein, and Zach Burge. I'm like, good gosh, this ain't good, you know. So now I don't have a scorable,
Yeah.
and I'm starting off middle ways of the second period, and I end up catching 5 that weigh 17, and I probably lost 15 in those reeds. I should have had, 35 or 40 pounds the first day, even with a bad start, but I did not execute and put them in the
Is it
boat.
because they were like, was it anything on your end, or was it one of those deals where they were just picking up the bait, swimming off with it because they were kind of finicky spawners? Like in hindsight.
It is. That's what was going on. They're spawning. And typical finicky spawning bass. And the reeds in that lake are the toughest reeds I've ever seen in my life. Like, you get hung with 65-pound braid, you can't. I broke off a couple of times pulling against the reeds. It was just stupid. But I was flipping the first day a lot heavier reeds than what those guys was flipping, because I didn't want to go behind them. I actually elected to go down, several hundred yards where the patch of reeds got thicker, and it was just almost impossible to get those fish out of there. So, I ended up with 5 that weighed 17 the first day and lost I don't know how many. So then I go to second day, and the same deal. It's 10 o'clock before I get back over there the second day because of the travel time, the idle zones, and the locking and this and that. So it's 10 o'clock when I get back to the same area. And when I get there, there's like 15 or 20 local boats in that area. And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to sit here and fish behind all these guys, plus all our guys, and do what I need to do. So I took off and just started running the lake, running what looked good, and I ran into them. And I think on day 2, I think I had 46.5 or something. And I caught all of those in the area no bigger than the size of your boat. Like, all those fish come out of one little bitty
Really?
spot. Yeah.
Is that a hard spot, or?
It was a hard spot. So the first day, actually, where Bobby Lane won the tournament at, and where I was fishing the first day was pencil reeds, round reeds, Thule's if you're in California. And when I was running around the lake, I actually stopped on a spot that had flat reeds or cattails, whatever you want to call them. And it was an area that stuck out off the bank just a little bit, but in that area, there was one sweet spot in it that I got bit and moved around, got bit in there again, and I fished the whole reed head, didn't get bit, come back to that area, got bit again. So then I started concentrating on that area. I think I caught 17 scorables off that one spot.
Now, could you? You didn't have, that wasn't a period that you had your forward facing. Would there have been any way to see those fish in there? Or are they freaking packed in there?
Actually, after day 1, I never turned live scope back on.
Yeah. So that's interesting. You went down there to scope.
I did initially. The first day I did. That's my intention, was to go to that spring.
Yeah.
And with the fish kill going on, like, you got to think, all this fresh water coming up out of the ground from a spring, that thing should be just loaded. Yeah. And it was loaded. It was loaded, but it was loaded with gar. It was loaded with the wrong kind of fish.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. So Apopka has a very interesting history. There are a couple guys. I feel like Glenn Brown, back in the day, he would make that long run when he fished it. There were a couple other guys, but it was kind of a mystery, a long run. So where did you guys take out of again?
We left out of Venetia Garden, so it was an extremely long run.
So that's in Harris, right?
That's in Harris, yeah.
So I'm gonna pull up the Omnia map just to show people. This is like kind of the first tournament where there was like a BPT, like guys were actually like running kind of balls to the wall, from what I saw. Yeah. Like, to try to get to the lock, to get through to where they could get to their spots and stuff. Usually it's either like the first one was a trailer. You guys get like a cup of coffee, chat with the family, ease over to your spot, pick out the fish you're going to catch on the first cast, then have at it. But it seemed like guys were kind of like trying to get there. Fair assessment?
Absolutely. You know, for the most part, it was going down in Apopka or it was going down in Lake Griffin. In both places, you had to lock through. Both places took a long time to idle, a lot of idle time, and then it was way beyond the hours before you had your front test.
All right, Terry, you're gonna have to help me out here because I've only been on the Harris chain one time.
Okay.
So this is Harris right here, if you can see. So where was your ramp somewhere in here?
So go to your left.
Yeah.
Keep going left. Keep going left. Keep going left. See that? Look, now go up just a little bit. Keep going up, 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 up. Right there.
Okay, so you guys take out of here, and guys, these lakes are manageable. So you have to run. You come all the way out here, and you run all of Lake Harris.
Left. You can turn left. There you go. You just went.
And then you run.
That's the Dead River. You get idle there. You idle through that Dead River. Take a right. Now you're in the Dora Canal. Yeah, that's the Dora Canal.
It's the Dora Canal. Do you acknowledge the gnomes in the Dora Canal? Like, is that good luck for you when you pass the house with all the gnomes in there? I always give them a salute. I felt like that was good luck. Like I had to say hi. You know the yard with all the gnomes in it?
Oh yeah.
I always say hi to the gnomes every day because I went in here. I felt like it was bad luck if you didn't say, "What's up, guys?"
I didn't do that. Maybe that's why I didn't win.
You got to acknowledge the gnomes in the Dora Canal. So this is all no wake.
All no wake.
And it takes what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
And then you pop out here and then balls to the wall.
Yep. Go. Keep on going. There you go. Now come right through there. Right, no wake again.
Yeah. Usually, like that whole area, there's like a cluster of boats that are catching little bitty schoolers, and then you have to idle through there. You run all the way through.
Yes. Keep going.
Is that Bouclair?
That's Bouclair.
And then you hit this little gem right here.
Yep, that's the Apopka Beauclair Canal.
Now you can run that, right?
Right there, and then you go stop and idle.
Yeah. In most cases, most people do stop and idle. There have been some instances where individuals don't, and they're not really fishing much anymore. and then you come down this. I mean, this is how wide? This is 4 boat lengths wide.
No, about 2 boat lengths wide.
Okay.
So yeah, so you get a stop about right there, and then you hit the lock.
Yeah.
Okay, it's right there. Actually, it's back a little bit further. Yeah. So then you stop at that lock and you wait and you wait and you wait because the lock only holds 3 boats. So if there's 15 boats there, that's 5 locks. It takes about 20 minutes to cycle.
That's it right there.
That's it right there.
That is a tiny lock. Like when you think lock, you're not thinking Arkansas River out of Muskogee. You're thinking like, I mean, it's tiny.
It holds 3 boats. You got to put them in there sideways.
And then you pop through. Now it's a boat race, right?
Yeah.
Then you come out into Apopka. You're like, whoa, this is a different color than anything else I've ever seen.
Exactly. Yeah. Figuring water.
And then you run all the way around Apopka, and then over on this side is where the Poche Avena drama went down. The spring.
Yeah, it was actually halfway back over there. Back to your north a little bit on the east shoreline.
Anyway, I'm not trying to give up your spot. I'm just showing people the process of where you take off by the time you get down there. And then, so how much of the first period would you lose?
I lost pretty much the whole first period, the first 2 days. So if you look at if you was to look at my score tracker, I don't have a fish until well into the second period because the first period it was all to get there.
When did you realize you'd have a shot at this thing?
The first day I had 5 that weighed 17, and everybody's like, "What's wrong? Well, you didn't catch them very good." Well, I made a wrong first move going to the spring, so that kind of cost me some time, and then I lost, 12 to 15 fish. So actually, I had the bites to do good, and I wasn't doing good. I was in 52nd after day 1, but I knew I had potential to do good because I had all those bites. I just had to figure out how to put them in the boat, and but then when I rolled in there the second day and all that local pressure was in there, there's like 20 boats on that one area. I'm like, this is not good at all.
Fishing or watching?
They're fishing. They're right in front of you. So
That's a
so
lot
I'm
of
like,
gold chains and push poles in one spot, Terry.
exactly. So here it took me my whole first period to get there. I get there, there's 15 or 20 locals in there with our guys. And I'm like, well, now I got 2 periods to get it done, and I'm going behind these guys. This is not going to work. So now I'm like, I'm down to a period and a half to make this cut. So I take off running and just fishing stuff. And I fished down there with GB quite a bit. You know, I know the lake fairly well. So I took off and was hitting good stretches that I fished in the past, and I run into them. So, um, you know, towards the end of the second period, first part of the third period, that second day, I caught, 46 pounds, like pretty quick. So at that point right there, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling like I found something. Nobody else is on it. The north end's getting a lot of pressure. At that point, I'm thinking this could be really, really good.
All right, I want to go to your stats because I'll be one. I did not realize your level of consistency back in the day. Remember, I would always jump in the boat with you. I mean, we're talking like back in the Elite Series days, and do like a well, back then it was Duck It on tour. I don't care, I'll say it. And I would follow you for, I'd jump in with a different guy every single day for a day of practice. I know one time I jumped in with you at the St. Lawrence River. We put it in Waddington, and then you proceeded to run to the mouth of the river. I've gotten in the boat with you a number of times, taking photos, and looking back on it now, you've always been, I would say, a spinning rod aficionado, whether it was a split shot rig, a worm, a shaky head, a drop shot. Like, that's something that I think you were ahead of your time for where I would put you in a category of anglers who like would fish entire seasons without throwing one. You've always kind of been a spinning rod guy, haven't you, Terry?
Yeah, it's kind of weird coming from Florida, like fishing local stuff. You never ever used a spinner rod. Everything was power fishing down here. And then it didn't take long when you're paying, $5,000-$6,000 entry fees and you're getting your butt kicked. You learn really, really quick on what to do to try to cash a check. So I learned really quick in time that the spinner rod is the best way to generate bites. Maybe not the biggest fish, but to generate bites and get paid. So I was ahead of my time on that. That was way before forward facing sonar. But there's a whole bunch of techniques you can do with a spinner rod to generate bites. So that's kind of where I learned that at. And it was trying to keep checks coming. Like every tournament you go to, most of them, you don't have a chance to win, but you can always cash a check, and that's what pays the bills. So that's kind of what my mentality is, I learned a lot to do with a spinner rod.
I could not find the article on it, but I know Alan McGuckin wrote an article with you a long time ago, and there was a really cold tournament. And at the meeting, I believe, was at a box tackle store, and you picked up some 16th ounce crappie jigs, and you ended up cashing a $10,000. Do you remember that tournament?
Absolutely. That was at Cherokee in Tennessee. Yes, I do. So that was also pre forward facing sonar. But the deal was you could find them on 2D out there, and that's how we was fishing that, fishing 25, 30 foot deep, catching smallmouth. And everything back then, it was when the Demiki first come out, the Demiki rig, guys was tight lining that thing and doing stuff like that. And I could see those fish and could not make them bite. I didn't even know they was bass, and just kept downsizing until finally we got to a crappie jig and started catching them. And actually, the first day of that tournament, the wind blew like 20 miles an hour, and I couldn't get that crappie jig down to them to catch them. So day 2, it didn't blow, and I caught 18 or 19 pounds on the crappie jig and come back and cash a check on it. So yeah, I remember that tournament very well.
Here it is. I just found it now that you mentioned where it was. Here it is. It's a Bass Fan article. It says it on here. You said, I started thinking about lures that were even smaller than a 3-inch Demiki.
Yep.
I mean, dude, you're ahead of your time right here, Terry. This is February of 2017. You said, I started thinking lures that were smaller than a 3-inch Mickey. The next thing you know, I've spent $150 in the crappie fishing section at the Kodak, Tennessee Bass Pro Shops. I had that right. It was the meeting at the deal. Yeah. I had everything in my bag from a tiny little 1/8 ounce marabou to curly tail grubs, all shapes and weights of jig heads. It talks about, oh my gosh, you were using 4-pound test.
Well, when you use a crappie jig, you can't, you got to go down, you got to downsize everything.
So in 2017, you're using a spinning rod on Cherokee Lake on 2D with an 1/8 ounce minnow and 4-pound test.
That's
and
it.
You came back from 86. It says that you had 16.2 on day 2, vaulted you up 36 places to 50th place and $10,000.
Got the last check. How about that?
And then finished 32nd.
Yeah.
This is all your fault. I didn't even realize this. Oh, that's interesting. You can just Google Terry Scroggins, Cherokee Lake crappie. That's what I did. That's what I did on it. But no, I said that to say, with the spinning rod, I think that kind of shows like your consistency on the Bass Pro Tour. A lot of veteran anglers are no longer fishing the Bass Pro Tour. It got dropped down to the 65. It's going to 50 next year. And if you look at your consistency over the past 5 years with 80 anglers, 47th, 41st, 43rd, 27th, 19th, you've had a top 10 3 of the last 4 years. You're averaging right around $60,000 a year. Like, dude, you've been very consistent in a Bass Pro Tour where a lot of guys that have over $1 million in earnings, have a lot of trophies, have accomplished a lot on the water, seem to really struggle.
Yeah, it's just a different program over there. Every fish counts. They give you a minimum weight, and every fish counts, and it's really hard mentally to change the ways you fish to catch numbers instead of going and catch your biggest 5. And versatility is the name of the game. No matter what league you're fishing in, whether it's 5 fish or every fish counts, you got to be versatile. But on the Pro Bass Tour with every fish counts, you have got it's a whole different mindset what you got to do. You don't have, and I like to run around a bunch, and you can't do it in that because when you're running with every fish counts, they're catching fish while you're running, and you just get further and further behind. So what you need to do is find an area or a bunch of areas that's close to each other, that you can spend a lot of time casting instead of running. And then, like you say, with the spinner rod, that's the best way to generate bites. So that's what I go with a lot. But Popka, not so much. It was a flipping stick and 65-pound braid the whole time.
All right. You good to talk about some baits? I got some baits that I have some questions for you with, and
absolutely.
then maybe we'll show the rod. We're gonna take our first break of the show. When we come back, more with the big show. Terry Scroggins. It's BTL on a Tuesday. We'll be back right after this.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery, unparalleled weight savings, keeping you on the water whether you run a 9.9 or outscoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
Beatdown is efficient.
Rock solid.
100% American made.
This thing is super tough. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere.
I've ran the Beatdown double stack from Florida all the way up to New York. And the one thing that I know is when I get to my fishing destination, I never have to worry about issues with my graph mount.
Your options are endless with these mounts, but they're steady, they're solid. These are the most reliable mounts on the market, and you can't go wrong with a beat down.
When you're ready to hit the water, Denali Fishing has you covered. Regardless of your skill level, from beginner all the way up to tournament pro, Denali has rods, reels, and tungsten to get the job done. Check them out at denalifishing.com.
All right, welcome back. We are chatting with the one and only Big Show, Terry Scroggins. If you saw there's the ran a beatdown commercial. I said I ran it from Florida all the way up north. I didn't say I caught him in Florida with it. You're a beatdown guy this year, like new graph mounts on the Ranger, right?
On the Ranger. So this is the first year I ran those, and man, I'm totally impressed. They do not move whatsoever. It's absolutely the strongest mount that I've ever used. And I've been doing this for 25 years, and like, it seems like every year somebody comes out with something good or better than last year. Those things are just, it's almost like overkill. Like, it's 10 times stronger than it needs to be. They do not move, and with all the adjustments on them, it's man, it's the deal.
Are you a guy who, when you get to your spot, you'll bump it up 8 inches so you got that screen a little bit closer, or do you just keep it down? Maybe
if I'm home crappie fishing or something, but bass fishing, I normally don't do it. I'm on the go, and I have a hard enough time seeing over everything I got.
All right, you want to know a little secret, Terry?
Yeah, tell me a secret.
I don't know if Beatdown will be thrilled about this. I've told it before. So, do you have the double stack up front with 2?
I do. I got the mini double stack.
Okay, yeah, you're in good shape then. So, is your scoping unit on the top or the bottom?
I got an 8616 Garmin on the bottom.
On the bottom.
Because it's so big, I didn't want to put it on the top. But I can see it good.
Top. Okay. Well, that might not work. So what I've done, and I won't be able to do it this year because I went to the 16-inch Garmin on a single pole. But on the old one, I made sure that I had enough play in my cables to where I could bump that thing up 30 inches, right? So it's at your chest. Then I had my scope and screen on the top, and this is cold, like you're talking cold. And then I took the bottom screen, so I literally had a table. So I had my scoping up, and then I put the cover on that graph. Holds a Coors Light fantastically while you're looking at crappie. You could have like your little jigs up there. It's like just literally like a little TV tray. But with your
might get me in trouble.
Yeah, with yours on the bottom, I don't know if that would work. All right, let's talk baits. You still have your own line of plastics that you're pouring?
I do. I pour stuff all the time. This particular week, I was actually using a Zoom Magnum finesse worm. So went to the tackle store. I had June bug is a big color on the Harris chain. Everybody knows that lives down here or whatever. So I started off with June bug. I actually ran through everything I had. I went to the tackle store, got some, ran through everything they had. So then my next option is red bug. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to bite this. Well, they bit it just as good or maybe even better. So I ran through all the red bug. They had like 5 packs of those. I ran through all of those. And then South Africa Special was the next option. So I started using those, and they bit them pretty well too. So it was not the color, it was the bait. And that Magnum finesse worm, I've used it all over the country when you're flipping, not heavy dense cover, but like reeds or laydowns or things like that. It's pretty hard to beat. So that was my go-to, and I felt good about it because I was around a lot of guys fishing. And it seemed like, you can see everybody. You can see when they fish or swing. And it seemed like I was getting way more bites than what they was. So I feel like that was key for me.
Why? I've never understood this. I've struggled with it. Why don't they like wiggly stuff in Florida?
I don't know.
I want something that wiggles, Terry.
It's stupid because you like, I got a pool at my house, and I look at baits all the time, and you throw that Magnum finesse worm in my pool, it just lays flat on the bottom. It don't do nothing. It makes no sense why they bite it, but they bite it.
I have a pack. I have a pack of Big Show baits that someone gave me several years ago down in Florida. when I was down there fun fishing, and they said, dude, and they said, this is the bait. It is the only thing the locals punch. It is the only color the locals punch in. And when you come back for your tournament, this is the only thing you need to throw. You have any idea what is your thought on what it is? Because I looked at it and went, this color and this bait, and literally it was like everyone down there was throwing. It had the package with like it said Big Show. It says Big Show right across the front.
I'm sure it was some kind of a cricket.
So it was that cricket, but it was in like the. Can I say what color it is? Or should
Yeah, that's fine.
It's in like the ugliest yellow bottom I've ever seen with a brown top.
Yeah, that's old Cooter Brown.
Was I pointed in the wrong direction, or is that a gem?
No, that's the deal. So yeah, so it's either a black and blue with some silver flake, or it's the Cooter Brown. That's the go-to two colors that if I'm flipping heavy dense cover, that's what I'm gonna have. So yeah, you was in the right direction.
All right, and then you're flipping it. You got the rod there that you're flipping all that stuff on.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can.
I got you full screen.
You got me full screen.
Yep.
Here we go. So it's just a Mudhole MHX 936, which means it's 93 inches and a power 6. It's an extra heavy 7/8 flipping stick. And to be honest with you, it might have been too strong for a lot of that stuff. I was fishing pretty shallow in a lot of places, 1.5 feet, less than 2 foot of water. Set the hook, and a lot of times the fish would come flying out of the water and come off in midair. Or a couple of times they'd come flying out of the water and land in the boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not much bend in that pole right there, Terry.
I was trying. The more I missed, the more I lost, the more frustrated I got, and the harder I was swinging. So, yeah, it wasn't working out good.
Are you a straight shank, an offset, and an old school?
So,
like, what's the best hook?
Yeah, so I got on this hook. I've always used a straight shank, but I got on this hook last year. Golly, I can't even remember the name of it. It's a Fury. You're going to help me out with.
Do you have one there?
Yeah, I got one. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you.
Hold it up there. See if we can tell.
This is actually it's in the worm.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Spear Point Fury.
Yep.
That's it. So yeah. So
show the shape of that thing again.
Yeah, let me. Okay, I lost you there. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull it out of this worm.
Yeah,
it's actually a Magnum finesse worm. Hang on just a second. It's a weird, very weird looking hook, but I'm dropping you. But it I'm gonna grab it where you can see the bend in it. There we go.
We're all over the map. We'll get there.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
Put it against my shirt so you can see it better.
Yeah.
So what I do is I actually on the outer bend of it towards the barb of the hook or the point.
There you go.
I take a pair of pliers and kind of flex it out just a little bit. That hook's like extremely strong, like very, very hard to bend. But I feel like if you bend that hook, the point out just a little bit, it helps your hookup ratio a whole lot better.
I found it on Spear Point. That's what it looks like right there.
That's it. That's it.
I mean, once they're stuck, they're stuck.
Well, no. That's what I thought before I went to Apopka.
Okay.
So the deal down there, flipping the reeds or the pads or the flat reeds, when you got a bite, if you did not swing on that fish immediately, which I don't like doing, especially when they're spawning, it would have you wrapped around 4 or 5 reeds and impossible to get them out. So when it was split second when they bit, I started swinging, and it helped out a lot on the ratio of catching the fish. But especially when they're spawning, it's a bad deal. You need to let them swim off with it, and then
like that's the type of stuff that you can't get. You can't, like, those reeds aren't. You don't like saw through those reeds.
No, it's not. It's not happening.
How thick are those? Like, are those like
So those are actually flat reeds there. They're not as thick
Okay.
as the pencil reeds. But at the base of those, what was happening, those fish would bite and take off through that stuff like immediately. And if you didn't swing on them right then to get their head coming out of that stuff, you was just hung. And a lot of times you'd feel a fish surge in there a couple times and he'd come off and you'd just be hooked in the reeds. So everybody was having that problem. I'm sure when y'all talk to Bobby, he's gonna tell you the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very frustrating mental tournament because of that. And you're getting the bites, but you're not executing on them. And sometimes you go 10, 15 minutes without a bite, and you get a bite, and you swing, and you be hung in the reeds, and you know what it's costing you when it happens. But the neat thing about our events, you start back at zero after you make the cut. So the first two cuts, it didn't hurt me any, but the last day, I lost some fish that cost me. I still wouldn't have beat Bobby, but I could have finished second. But that's just part of it. You know that when you're fishing that kind of stuff and under the circumstances of what's going on. And I don't have an answer to it. I don't have no fix for it,
I mean, I can tell you exactly what Bobby's going to say. Bobby's going to say, well, I just had that Durabraid, that 60-pound Durabraid, and I just put that Maxen on there and just swung and just hope and just wench those suckers right in the boat. And by golly, I caught 53 pounds doing it.
That sounds about like him, but on the water, he's saying something else because I can hear him over there, over my right shoulder.
Yeah, he gets fired up.
Well, yeah, you'd have to do a lot of bleeping. There's another one. I lost another one. I can't believe this.
Can we wrap this up by talking about crappie fishing, Terry?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fixing to go do that here in just a minute.
Yeah, so I'm obsessed with crappie fishing. I'm actually starting Crappie Talk Live this fall.
Okay, cool.
And it's like the same thing as BTL, except I've gotten obsessed with chasing these giant crappie. Like there's a pretty every time I've been down in Florida, there's a pretty hardcore Florida crappie scene, isn't there?
So listen, the weekend, so we had a week off between Conroe and the Harris Chain. And in that week off, there was a crappie tournament down here. $10,000 to win. I'm hopping in that sucker. So I go out and practice on Friday. I had 7 on Friday that weighed 19. I had a 3.2. Which I got pictures of. I can send it to you. Big old giant crappie. I'm like, I'm gonna kill these boys. They had no idea what's fixing to happen. I had like 25 schools of these things found, and they all left, just like bass fishing. I don't know where they went. But so day 1, I had 7 that weighed 12, and then day 2, I had 7 that weighed 15.
Oh, that's the gold standard. There is the 2-pound average, right?
Yeah. But here you need more than that because I finished 9th, made $1,200. But finished 9th with that. So yeah, these guys down here catch them, and they're big. We have nothing but black crappie, but they're big.
Are you scoping those, or are you daubing those? Because it seems like I see guys that are out in the middle of nowhere in Florida, but then I also see the guys that are like up in the stuff, like that you guys were bass fishing in a popka, and then all of a sudden, boom, jet black 16-inch crappie.
No, when I'm crappie fishing, I'm a scoper.
Really?
Yeah.
Close range or far range? Are you dropping like 14 to 16 foot rods on them, or
no? I'm sniping them. I'm sniping them suckers with a ultralight spinner rod, making 40, 50 foot casts, and it's just like bass fishing. I mean, just like it. So it's a lot of good practice for scoping.
Have you done any of the close range stuff?
I have, but that's not me. I got
it's totally you. That's I equate it. I equate it to an 8-foot flipping stick punching a 2-ounce weight. Like my jammer is like a 16-foot extra heavy. It's a 3-piece rod. You put 30-pound test braid, a 1/4 ounce with a 2-aught medium gauge hook, tungsten bead above it. You set your scope at 30. You get the fish at 18 to 16, and then you lower it down above it. You're hunting it just like a deer. That thing hits it. You've got it under the crook of your arm, and you go, and it just freaking stops. And then you just keep that one motion, and that big slab comes sliding out of the water and into the boat, and you drop it on the scales. We don't measure them in length. It's a weight deal there.
You're gonna have to bring that down here. We'll see how it works out for you,
dude. You got to get in.
We'll go head to head on that. I just take my little spinner rod and where
Okay.
you at with it.
Okay. Well, in Oklahoma here, I mean, it's different. Those suckers suspend. You catch them.
What you just say is different. It's different.
It's a little different, but I don't know if it works nationwide. It might work down there. Like it could be the new jig and minnow for the crappie down there. But I mean, dude, imagine like this thing, like if my screen is a screen, like this thing is just glowing, and then you drop it down on it, and you're staying right behind it. You figure out which way its head, that jig comes down, and then all of a sudden that ball goes, and it looks. I mean, you see the fins, you see the shape of the crappie, and it comes up, and this is 5-6 foot under the water, and then it's just boom, the whole rod rattles.
So the guys that beat me, that's how they caught them, but I just gotta have my spinner on. I'm hard headed. Oh,
you put I take a bait caster off of just a regular bait caster off and use that. You would enjoy that, Terry. You got to get in on that. You got to get in on that. So,
I'll try it.
Anything else? Like, what's your? I just got a Blackstone. My girlfriend got me a Blackstone, so now I'm working with 4 grills in the back. I am curious, like, what is your grill setup and your heating element of choice these days?
Oh man, probably my go-to is the Traeger.
Okay,
I got a big old Traeger pellet grill. Cook on it all the time. I got a green egg, got a gas grill, got a portable gas grill I carry on the road. Got a Kingsford charcoal grill. So yeah, if I'm doing steaks, it's either on a green egg or a regular charcoal. Get it hot as you can get it. No ribeye, and just flop her down on there for a little bit and pull it off. But
so I got the charcoal and the
yeah. So I started this carnivore diet. So you eat nothing but meat, cheese, and butter. So I've been wearing them grills out.
I think I've been on that since I was 11 and didn't even know it.
You look like it. You might need some ice cream or something.
Do you remember at Grand Lake, the media event where they strapped a grill to the front deck of your boat and you were fishing while you were grilling at the same time?
Yeah. So we were staying somewhere and the house didn't have a grill there. So I'm like, I'll just go get one. And when I got to my truck, I had so much stuff in the back of my truck it wouldn't fit. I said, well, I'll just throw that sucker up there on the boat and tie it down. And Alan McGuckin happened to be around there. He said, I ain't believing this. So he takes a picture of it and boom, there it goes. But yeah, it's you just gotta do what you gotta do when you're on the road, you know.
I hear you. Who are you rolling with this year?
Oh, this year it's Britt Myers and old Boom Boom, Fred Robanis.
Oh, that's a good house.
Yeah.
That's a happy house.
It's a happy house.
Are you the only one with a kid who's not going to be kicking your butt within 2 years on tour? You got Britt Myers Jr. and Jackson that are definitely up and comers.
Both of those boys are kicking butt now. So Britt Jr. just went and took Hank Parker out fishing to show him how to scope. And they jacked like 5 that weighed 35. So he's coming on strong. And Jackson, him and his brother just won a tournament last weekend out there at Dardanelle. So yeah, both those guys are bringing the heat.
I'm trying to find the picture of the grill on the boat.
That's back in the day.
Dude, that would have been like 2008.
Yeah, not that far back, but it was back there pretty good ways.
It was at Grand following one of the events at Grand. It might have been.
I think it was at Table Rock.
Well, yeah. It was at Table Rock. You're right. It's not out there. Anything else you want to get in before I let you go, Big Show?
I'm good, man. I'm fixing to go catch some crappies.
I got you. I'll tell you what, whoever had the over on the number of times you said hammer lost, because I don't think you said it once.
Well, hey, you know what? So my official, the third day of this event, Mr. Ernie was 78 years old, I think, 76 or 78. He said, hey, my name's Ernie. I said, Ernie, I'm probably going to call you Hammer because I can't remember nobody's name, and I just call everybody Hammer. So he made it a point. He was a school teacher. He made it a point to say Ernie. Like, nice.
And you still remember it?
Yeah. So throughout the whole day, I think that's the only official I have not called Hammer. And he says, I'm going to come up to you in a year from now, just see what you call me. I said, I'm going to call you Hammer.
That's fantastic. All right, Terry, I greatly appreciate the interview. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Congratulations on a great start to the season and a top 5 finish in the home state.
Thank you, man. Y'all be good.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Don't forget to take your phone off do not disturb so people can call you again now.
I got it. If I can remember how to do it. See you, man.
Right corner, swipe down, crescent moon, do not disturb.
Gotcha.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, the one and only Terry Scroggins on BTL. That was criminal that I haven't had him on since I took it over. Always a good dude for the sport, always a positive attitude, and way more versatile than people give him credit for. So we're taking a final break of the show. When we come back, look ahead to the rest of the week. BTL on a Tuesday, February 18th. We'll be back right after this. Pro Bass Adventures is reinventing Mexico bass fishing. With boats equipped with 12-inch Garmin units and LiveScope Plus, free loaner fishing rods, and no-cost airport transportation, Pro Bass Adventures is proudly putting you in the best position for success. Pro Bass Adventures has lodges on Lake Baccarat and Lake El Salto, Mexico's two best trophy largemouth bass lakes. Visit probassadventures.com or email probassadventures@gmail.com. The official Mexico fishing lodge of Bass Talk Live.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Everything you need, one legendary brand. Top on Strike King.
Gear that just plain works. Cast after cast after cast. AFCO. Any fish, any water.
Hey guys, Brian Schmidt here with Spro. I'm going to talk to you about the confidence I have in the equipment I use. You know, I have a charter boat business back home in Maryland. We fish for saltwater fish, and I also fish the Bassmasters Elite Series. So I keep my lights on by fishing. I have to have a lot of confidence in the equipment I use. Spro has me covered from head to toe, saltwater, freshwater, everything in between. A lot of high-end quality product. Spro has you covered.
In 2023, we became a household name in the crappie fishing world thanks to Power Breaks, the game changer. Hey, bass fishing world, buckle up, because you're next. It's going to be fun. Welcome to the next evolution of our product line, Power Breaks Sidekick, designed to install right on your shallow water acres. We are the first and only fishing brake company to offer a breakaway system. Just like with the Game Changer, the Power Break Sidekick has it as well. And it's not a matter of if you're going to need it, it's when. Power Brakes, the most durable fishing brakes available on the market today. Made right here in the USA with our rock-solid 2-year warranty. Hey, not all fishing brakes are built equally, and you owe it to yourself to find out why ours are different. Power Break Sidekick. Order yours today at mypowerbrakes.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, welcome back. Wrapping things up here on BTL. I didn't realize, I actually was trying to find that bass tournament that he was using the crappie jig on, which was Cherokee. I think that was the one that Wheeler won. That was kind of the introduction to the Demiki rig. Guys were dropping it straight down on the bottom and getting those smallmouth to come up after it. That was a really cool tournament. And then they took him and they weighed him in like at an arena. But I think Big Show is one of the most underrated, versatile anglers. Now that I think about it, I have crappie fished with Big Show before on Toledo Bend at a Lose media event. It was windy, and Spotlock had just come out on trolling motors, and Big Show had Spotlock, and they had just had an Elite Series there, and there were a couple crappie brush piles off of the main channel, and it was Tommy Biffle and one of his buddies and Big Show and me, and Big Show had a Spotlock and Tommy did not, and it was gas and wind out there, and we were he hit the Spotlock using the 2D, and we were dropping straight down. I mean, massive brush pile on Toledo Bend. Like, there's guys that you know, living the dream guide, bunch of guys. Anyway, they take pontoon boats out. That's what Harold Allen does now. I think he still does it. Last time I said, you know, bait some minnows, you drop it over the side, boom, 12, 13-inch crappie, 14, 15s. Anyway, I remember Biffle was getting frustrated. That's someone else I need to get on. Biffle was getting frustrated because he kept getting blown off of the brush pile. And Terry said, Hammer, just pull out a rope, tie it off to my cleat. So we turned Biffle's rig like into a barge, tied it off, and then Terry kept us in the same spot with the Spotlock, and they dropped off their boat, and Terry and I dropped off that side of the boat. And I'm pretty sure we limited out, like, and didn't have any, like, had gone to Walmart, or not a Walmart, but whatever's in that neck of the woods there where there's a fillet and bags, and sat there and at a media event and cleaned crappie, which was also when I got to go out with Wally Marshall for a couple hours. And Big Show was on him, though. That was a fun event. A very fun event. Back with another show tomorrow, working on a guest. Like I said, there's very few guys that aren't fishing right now between the MLF Invitational. This taking place will be the first time here in a couple of days that we get a look at one day with forward facing, one day without, and then the final day with. The Elite Series is on the St. Johns River. If you guys are looking for some fantasy fishing tips, we're back. Andrew Upshaw's Open Pros Pick'em with Ish Monroe, Todd Castledine, Andrew, and myself. That is out on Andrew Upshaw's YouTube channel. I really enjoy doing that show, even though I get ripped on pretty good on that, but it's all good. They do not take it easy on me on that show. And then Thursday, back with another live. Uncle Frank Scalish utilizing the brand new touchpad deep dive technology. And then following that, Lord willing, Bobby Lane comes on. So big shout out to Terry Scroggins. Thanks for jumping on. And we will talk to everybody tomorrow, same place, same time, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. If you guys do not follow BTL, if you just watch it and you don't subscribe, like over half the people who watch it don't subscribe, create a Google account and YouTube, subscribe to it, turn the notifications on. That way, whenever we go live, not at 8:30 a.m. or randomly, you can know and you can get that live. Also helps to grow the subscriber base. And if you're listening on iTunes or MP3, your iTunes platform or podcast platform, and have not left a review, much appreciated. All right, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow. See ya.